Yeah. Yeah. 2 minutes late. In some circles, they call that fashionably late. Those of y'all know I'm something like a fashion icon, you know? A lot of tank tops from Amazon, Target, and Shein. You know what I'm saying? Shein, that's that company where they sell Chinese bullshit. Anyway, let's start the show, man. Let's go. Yo, what up? Welcome to another episode of Victory Talk. I don't know how crazy this episode is going to be because we had to crack the window. We cracked this big ass floor to ceiling window for the balcony out here because it was a little stuffy. And the niggas below me, man, they getting high, man. They smoking weed. Got goddamn pothead hippies below me, man. Motherfucker, that's why you below me. Because you always doing drugs, man. Listen, I know some of you motherfuckers do drugs and shit. And it's cool, you know. Like, hey, a lot of guys smoke weed and make money. Elon Musk smoke weed sometimes. You ain't Elon Musk, nigga. You just a guy. But whatever, man. We're back. Welcome to another episode of Victory Talk. I just wanted to give y'all that warning. This shit might get crazy if I keep in this secondhand smoke from these fucking pothead hippies below me. Get a job. I didn't know I was moving in underneath fucking Snoop Dogg. But it's all good, man. You know what it is. Yo, this is the episode where we should tell you how to. Yeah, I'm not this episode. This is the podcast where we talk all about how to improve your money, muscle, and mindset. You know what it is. That's what's Victory Talk. That's what it is. That's victory, man. That's victory. And listen, before I get started, got to give a word to our sponsors. You know what I'm saying? This episode of Victory Talk, we got a sponsor. Yeah, I know. We got a sponsor, Thot Repellent. Thot Repellent is the easy to apply spray, which will keep the thoughts at bay for 12 to 14 hours. As of now, we're working on improving the formula. We want it to be 24 hours. You know what I'm saying? We really want it to be like, what's that deodorant that's so strong you can skip a day? I don't want y'all fucking skipping days on this or deodorant. But anyway, yeah, we're trying to improve it, man, because it right now can only keep like 15, somewhere between 15 and 20 thoughts away at a time, right? But listen, the guys who listen to Victory Talk every month, right? Every week, twice a week, and they're in the free Discord, the Victory Unit Discord, they're learning how to build their money, muscle, and mindset set. They're going to need a stronger formula. 10 to 20 hoes is going to be inadequate, right? You're going to have to be able to keep a whole army, a whole legion of bitches at bay. You're going to have to repel them. And that's what Thot Repellent, we're trying to improve the formula. All right. We really want to improve the formula. That's what all your super chats are going to go towards research and development to Thot Repellent. All right. We got to make it stronger, man, because the thoughts out here, listen, the thoughts are ruining ballers' lives left and right. We see this happen all the time, guys. You might see a guy, maybe he joins the NBA, right? And he gets a big contract. Oh, he's really good. What happens? These hoes trying to get pregnant. You know what I'm saying? They throwing themselves at him. They trying to get pregnant, and it be happening. And then next thing you know, child support. So your super chats with your help. Sorry. With your help, we can save the ballers from these thoughts. we can help these guys stay on their grind so they can keep building their businesses, hiring people, and boosting the economy. The thoughts, see, you guys don't understand. If the thoughts fuck up the ballers' whole shit, that fucks up the economy, man. Because now they can't build businesses and shit. What would happen? Let's say there was a baller, right? And he's got, you know, think about me. I'm balling, right? I got motherfucking housekeepers coming to clean this place up. I got other motherfuckers cleaning the fucking balconies, 5 balconies, right? You know what I'm saying? Motherfucker had to come and fix the private elevator not long ago. I got to pay these people. I'm helping out the local economy. So let's say a baller who doesn't have Thot Repellent, he's hiring similar amount of people to manage his dwelling or lair. and this bitch get pregnant. You know what I'm saying? Fuck up the thoughts. I mean, the thoughts fuck up his money. Now the housekeeper's out of job. The elevator nigga's out of job. The balcony bitch is out of job. And that's gonna trickle down into the economy. Then their kids ain't gonna be able to afford school no more. They grow up to be gangbangers and start fucking robbing and killing people, man. We can save the world with this. We can save the world with Thot Repellent. That's why all your super chats are going to go towards the research and development super chat to Thot Repellent. And guys, you don't know how expensive this is, man. I got a whole like army of fucking scientists, nerd niggas, you know, with beakers and lab coats testing this shit on fucking dogs. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how you test fucking drugs. You test it on animals. And it's just super expensive, man. It's super expensive. So we're going to help you guys out with we're going to need your help. The ballers need your help. The economy needs your help, right? We can save the world, make the world a better place. You know what I'm saying? We can heal the world. All right. Hey, but join that Discord unit, that Discord page, you know what I'm saying? And there's free courses in there. And I'd be remiss if I did not mention probably the best course I ever put out is free. It's called The Baller Mindset. Baller Mindset. If you started or finished the Baller Mindset, just tell the rest of the chat how fucking dope it is. You know what I'm saying? Tell the chat how dope it is. It's 100% free. I'm not charging you nothing. There's no upsells and there's nothing you can even buy in there. Listen, Carlos Alvarez, he says, hey, that Baller Mindset course is elite. I finished it and I've been leveling it up since then. You know what I'm saying? Muy bueno, Carlos. Mi gente gusta mindset de la baller. Congratulations. See. I was speaking Spanish. I just got off the flight, man, to Puerto Rico. I just got off a flight from Puerto Rico. I just landed in Puerto Rico. I was speaking Spanish in Puerto Rico, man. I was like, I seen this nigga, and he was like, I was at the resort. I just went there for business, some secret business, and I'm at the resort, and I go outside and I see one of the workers like doing landscape and shit, and he was looking like a migrant. So I ain't think he knew English. So I was like, all right, man, I've been studying for this, and I was like, hola, hombre. ¿Dónde estás el gimnasio? Para abdominales. And he said, and he started pointing and saying some fucking Spanish shit. He was speaking too rapidly for me to discern the content of his speech. But I knew he was pointing me in the right direction of the gimnasio. And then I get up in there, I'm like, gimnasio. Gimnasio. El jefe de ejercicio. Mi casa. You know, I started lifting the weights. First, I get on the exercise bike. I'm sorry, bicicleta. And I got it in. You know what I'm saying? You know what it is. You know what it is, man. We bilingual in this bitch. You know what I'm saying? We speaking all the languages, man. We speaking all the languages, you bitch ass niggas. Yo, all right. A lot of super chats going on, man. Yo, Yo, last week, if you ain't seen the one from last week, I showed you the importance of habits and tracking your habits, and I showed you how to set up the habit tracker, man. Just let me know, man, who set up the habit tracker. That shit is fire. I'm sorry. Fuego.
I actually did it.
Huh?
I actually
you did one.
Yeah.
Nima did one, man.
It was really good. Seriously.
Come on, man. Let's go, man. Let's go. Yo, man. Bueno.
Gracias.
You know what I'm saying? Yo, man. All right, man. So listen, we got a lot of stuff we want to talk about today. And I got a lot of lessons I want to teach you. Lessons that will help you build your money, muscle, and mindset, because that's what we talk about here. And yes, we got a lot to talk about. And some of that talk is real talk. Hold on, man. King Keto, Big Brandon Carter, Gymnasium Jesus needs to take a sip of water. Man, run that shit again so I can drink some water. All right, let's get into, you know what? Excuse me. I need one more second, man. Just run it one more time. I just need a few seconds. I'm doing this shit by myself, man. All right. I'm the only nigga on camera. These other motherfuckers, they do this shit live. You know what I'm saying? They got mad people around. They have a conversation. They can take a break. Y'all don't even know. Sometimes, man, I'm on these other podcasts and to be mad people. And they fucking, when I'm talking, they'll like signal to their cameraman, hey, just keep the camera on him. And they'll like leave and do some shit and come back. I seen it happen mad times. I don't have that option. I just gotta have these motherfuckers run the fucking thing again. Now I gotta blow my nose. So run it one more time, man. Man, y'all know how hard this is. This shit is not fucking easy. I'm the only nigga to do a live podcast solo. Of course, I got Minovia in the other room monitoring some of the comments, kicking out the haters and blocking them for life and shit. And I got Nima manning the cameras and running the shits. But I gotta be the star. I gotta be the talent all by myself. Motherfuckers need like 30 motherfuckers there, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't have that luxury. I don't want all them people in my goddamn crib. Other motherfuckers just be threatening to shoot people. I was really shooting. You know how many fatalities we would have had if I had 30 bitches yelling and screaming in this motherfucker all the time? I digress. Like the video. Like the video. I just hopped off a fucking plane, man. I just got off the jet. All right. Came back from Puerto Rico. You know what I'm saying? And you know how them Spanish niggas do, man. Spanish niggas, yo, you ever been on a fucking plane full of Spanish niggas? Niggas start clapping when the fucking plane it's like a round of applause. Like, nigga, this shit happens all the time. Planes go up and down. And this shit been happening since the Wright brothers, man. Like, shit is not praiseworthy. But you know, man, I just came back from San Juan. And doing some baller shit with some baller people, secret missions, right? But that's not what I'm talking about today. What up, Blackjack? All right. In this video, I want to break down the 20 lessons I learned. I don't know how many it's gonna be. It might be 20, it might be less. I'm gonna do an alternate version. The 13 lessons I learned We're gonna see how this goes. It's gonna be 20 or it's gonna be 13. I'm all by myself. From my biggest failures in my 20s. You see, when I was young, 20 years ago, I'm 40. I'm about to turn 41 soon. So my 20s was long ago. And in my 20s, man, I made a lot of mistakes and made a lot of huge errors that really contributed to, it really afforded me a lot of opportunities for misfortune. And I learned a lot from those failures. And those lessons propelled me to the success I started to have in my 30s and 40s. I went from being kind of broke. I went from being broke, my father had killed himself, shot himself in the head. I had to take care of the whole family, to right now when I'm consistently balling, elite level balling, multiple 8-figure businesses, in-house luxury apartments overlooking the Atlantic Ocean, millions of fans across social media platforms. And I want to teach you these lessons now, because experience is the best teacher, but it does not have to be your experience, right? So if you can learn from my failures and get the lesson without having to have the awful experiences, one, it's less painful way to learn. But in addition to that, you won't have the setbacks that I had, and you should be able to accomplish what I've accomplished or better in a lot less time. So let's get into it. Lesson number 1. Human beings will always act in their own self-interest. A lot of times people lament the fact that others are selfish, or they won't do things for them, or they're not looking out for them. And I want you to understand that that's just human nature. And I want you to embrace that and learn from it and use that to your advantage. For example, back in the day, there was this girl I liked a lot. And we were supposed to go out. We were supposed to hang out one time. And the day of, mere hours before, she hits me up via text and says, "Oh, I can't make it tonight. I got to do some shit for my mama." And I believed her. But I also thought, if I was Drake, would she have said that? Or would she have said, "Look here, mama, I'm about to go kick it with Drake. You're going to have to do that other shit on your own"? I think that's what she would have did. And her mom would say, "Girl, you better go on out there with Drake. Have one of his babies tonight. so we can get a better house." I believe that's what would happen. I don't think she would have said that to Drake. And instead of being mad at her, like a lot of guys, especially guys in their 20s, they have something to prove, big egos, and they would have been like, "Man, she said it," and they get mad. But I just thought, oh, I just need to step my game up. And that propelled me to work harder, or like, okay, you know what I'm saying? I need to make my shit undeniable. I need to be so lit that bitches will curb their mama instead of me. And because in reality, she probably did the right thing. Like, her mama's more important than me, than some guy, unless that guy is not, unless that guy is more important than mama. I'm talking about being so important. Then mama would have said, girl, you better get the fuck out of here. I don't need a ride to the place that bad. What if you're that good? You know what I'm saying? Well, bitches will curb their mama and their mom will be happy they did it. People would always act in their own self-interest, though. The lesson is to just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind in general. That's a different story. That's a different story. It took me a minute to learn this lesson. But that goes for, think about it in business. If you want more customers and you want to keep those customers for longer and get them to pay you more and more, then the product or service that you deliver to your customers should be so good that they would feel stupid for leaving you or fucking with a competitor, right? It should be so good that they will revolt, riot in the streets if you restricted access to your product or service. You get what I'm saying? Like, what if you were that good? If you have a hard time keeping employees or getting good employees, then you should make your shit so good. Well, then that's a sign, right? That's a sign. That's a sign that you're not treating them well enough to sustain them, right? To keep them around. Think about companies like Google, Amazon, the Facebook, right? They treat their best employees, the fucking nerds who write the code and shit, they treat them so well because it's hard to get these motherfuckers. They're getting these motherfuckers from Ivy League schools and they're getting the best of the best from those schools, right? And they put them through a gauntlet of training to get there. But once they get there, you could treat it amazing, man. You could treat it amazing at these companies because they want to retain those employees for as long as possible, right? And just think about it in all aspects of your life. It's super important. It's super important. And if you use it to your advantage, then you don't have to try to manipulate people. You don't have to try to trick people. You don't have to be upset with people for not doing what you want them to do if you align your interests with theirs. I mean, I think that's the key, to align your interests with theirs, to make it so they are so happy to fuck with you that they'll do anything to. But puts the onus on you. That puts the onus on you. Charles Darwin said, no, it wasn't Darwin. It was some other nigga named Charles. Nature is nothing but the inner voice of self-interest. When you put that right, some other nigga named Charles. But like, bleep out don't write nigger on that shit because y'all not black. I'ma fuck you up. Or you can have the black guy do it. That's cool. But one of them white editors do it. That wouldn't be in his self-interest. You know what I'm saying? All right. But think about that. All of nature is just self-interest. So a lot of times people think that, oh man, think about the tree, the apple tree. The apple tree doesn't make apples for you to eat. They make apples because that's the best environment for the seed. That gives it the highest likelihood of passing on its motherfucking apple genes within the fruit, right? And we take advantage of that and use it to our self-interest, right? That's all of nature. All of nature is just self-interest. And you want to align yourself with that instead of fighting over it or lamenting the fact that it's like that way. And it's also a beautiful way to live. What if you were so valuable that everybody who fucked with you got way more as a result? What if everybody who fucked with you received way more then receive the greater what if they all receive the greater compensation than the effort they put in to fuck with you? For like the employees or the customers, right? They should feel like lucky to have you in your life, but that puts the onus on you. Just like when that bitch curbed me for her mama. Hey man, I looked at it, that's me. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough for her to shit on her mama yet. Lesson number 2. Displaying confidence is the only way to get support. This kind of builds off of the previous lesson. I see a lot of people who say things like, oh man, my family doesn't support me. My mom doesn't support me. My friends, they not there for me, man. They're not looking out all these things. They don't have the support that they would desire or feel like they require to accomplish their goals. But you got to remember, everybody's going to act in their self-interest, right? So if they don't believe that your shit is going to pop, why the fuck would they support you? Maybe they don't believe in you. And that's the onus on you. That puts the onus on you. You haven't displayed enough confidence. You haven't displayed enough competence yet. However, once you start displaying competence, then people will be excited to fuck with you. They'll be asking you, how can I help you? For example, when I first started my social media, YouTube and all the shit, and started my business, none of my friends and family fucked with the shit. They weren't sharing the videos. They weren't liking the shit like that. They weren't telling their friends about it. And it kind of struck me as odd, but I didn't have a track record as a successful entrepreneur, as a successful legal entrepreneur. Up until that point, I hadn't displayed competence in that domain. However, I also realized that I didn't need their support to get it popping, right? I can get it popping on my own, right? And I think all you guys can do that. If you're trying to get to like $100,000 a year, or even you can get $1 million a year without your friends and family. It's probably better if you do. But once you get it popping, they will all be fucking with you. I promise. They will be super excited. They'll be like, "Ooh, now I got family members." All the motherfucker got to do is say the word exercise in their vicinity. Like, "Ooh, you should see my cousin. He did." Like, bitch, you wasn't with me shooting in the gym. You wasn't with me in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? But I don't trip. I just understand that that's human nature. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to get on the train that's moving, but nobody wants to get in a motherfucking broken down car, right? Everybody wants to ride in the Lambo, but they don't want to ride in the motherfucking hoopty, in the broke down Toyota. You know what I'm saying? But everybody wants to ride in the Lambo. You know what I'm saying? And I want to read you a quote from one of my friends. Well, we used to be friends until he went crazy. But he was, he said, I ain't got no hate on him. The homie Rouge V, he wrote this once. It was a blog post. He said, they want you to fail. Your success is their failure. It reminds them of their laziness, their poor work ethic. I'm sorry to tell you, they all want you to fail. Their subtle jabs, their withholding encouragement are all aimed to keep you in an inferior situation. No one wants to see someone rise faster than the speed they rise themselves. There's no point in telling other people your goals. They will talk you out of it and give you bad advice. There's no point in trying to convince others of your worldview. They will plant seeds of doubt that prevent you from action and seeing the truth. The minute you just go slightly higher than they've been, they'll try to sabotage you. They are the worry mongers, the fear mongers, the scare mongers, the shame mongers, the guilt trippers, the trolls, and the haters. Ignore them. feeding them brings them down to your level, which is exactly what they want. You are completely on your own. You don't need anyone. If you can't reach your goals without validation and support from other human beings, then you don't deserve to succeed. That was the homie Roosh, right? That's the worst of it. That's the worst of it. Some people, some of them will start to hate, but not when you start balling. When you start balling, they won't start hating. They'll be like, "Hey, man, I got this idea. You got some money? I want you to give me some money for this idea, man. Look here, man. So I think we can get some like Timberland boots with roller skates on them. They'll come with you with like all their fucking wacky ideas. You know what I'm saying? But initially, some of them may hate, but I don't think it's always that nefarious. A lot of times, it's not like they want you to fail, but your success does shine light on their inferiority, right? The fact that you're brave enough to go after something on a subconscious level, they'll know and believe. Well, on a subconscious level, they'll know that, fuck, this mad shit I want to do, but I'm not going after it. So they might withhold support. It's not always as nefarious as Roosh said. I think it's just sometimes it makes them feel bad about themselves on a subconscious level, and they just won't reach out. It's not as nefarious as Roosh says. Not all the time, but sometimes for sure. But the people close to you, the people who really care about you, sometimes it just like shows them, fuck. Or you have somebody like parents who, they just worry, man. They just worry that you're going to fail, and you might fail, right? But they don't want to see you in any pain because, as a father, when I see my son in pain, I feel pain as well. And they don't want to feel that pain, but you don't need them to support you. You know what I'm saying? Just get it popping. Just get it popping. And once you get it popping, trust me, they'll be there to support you. The irony is you won't need them. Number 3, there is no amount of money you can't fuck up. I promise you that. There is no amount of money you can't fuck up. So probably in my like late 20s, I was like knocking on the door of like $1 million a year. I don't think I made my first million to like my early 30s. I don't know exactly the time, but I was like super close in my late 20s. And excuse me. And I would look into my account and I, even though I know I had grossed that large sum of money, close to $1 million, I would always look at my account and I'd be like fucking goddamn almost empty. You know what I'm saying? Almost empty. And I that would happen year after year. And I continued this fucking charade until my early 20s. And then I read a book called Profit First by Mike Mitskakakis. And Mike had an accounting system called the Profit First accounting system that like really blew my mind. It blew my mind. I was like, oh, I changed it. Now I have a video on Profit First, and I talked about it last week on the podcast too, so you can check it out. But I took it to the next level and started doing something similar in my personal life with my personal accounting, because Profit First is more for business accounting. But for my personal accounts, I did something similar, and I called it accounting. Guys, I put the C first in front of the A because I'm dyslexic, and that's like a fucking symptom, like legitimately dyslexic. That's a symptom of dyslexia. If you make fun of me, it's a hate crime. You're a bad person, and God don't like ugly. He will punish you. His wrath will be felt. All right. So MBA accounting looks like this. It's based off Profit First, but you want to set up 5 bank accounts. The first bank account is just income, right? It's just an income account. And this is where all the money goes into, right? From all your different income sources. So if you got some fucking real estate income, if you're making money from fucking trading stocks, you're making money from businesses, multiple businesses. I had like multiple businesses, multiple income sources. All the money goes into one account. After goes through the business accounting, what I pay myself all goes to this account. right? And in this account, you do nothing but collect the money, and then on whatever frequency you feel works best for you, you distribute that money throughout the other accounts with the percentages I'm about to give you, right? So there's no debit card associated with this account. There's no automatic payment associated with this account. This account's sole purpose is to collect the income and then distribute it to the other accounts, right? Now, a lot of you guys are going to say, I can just do this all in one account. Yo, man, that's because you broke. You don't know shit about real money. You never did accounting before. You don't know how difficult that's going to be. You know, I'm smarter than you. All right. So the 4 accounts you're going to put it in is, the first one is going to be I call it the war chest, but this account is your investments, right? So you put, I'll tell you the percentages in a minute, right? But this is an account where you're going to use to invest in other things that are going to make you more money, right? And I call it the war chest because I look at every dollar like a bullet, and I want to use it to attack poverty and mediocrity. You know what I'm saying? So that's the war chest. Boom. And then you have what I call the operations account. So this is the account that you're going to live out of. This is where you have a debit card for. This is where you pay your fucking bills, light bill, cell phone, all that shit. You're going to be living out of this account. These are basically your living expenses, you know. Then you're going to have taxes. All right, Uncle Sam going with that money, man. You better give it to him. We're going to talk about that more. Because that was a lesson. That's going to be another lesson that will come up shortly. You're going to give him that money, man. And then you have his favorite account, your baller account. And this is discretionary spending, right? This is money I spend on, you know, Louis Vuitton shit, Gucci shit, motherfucking Cartier bracelets, expensive ass watches like this Richard Mille, you know. It all comes from there. And the percentages look like this. It's super important. You got to have 5 bank accounts, asshole. Right. So 50% of all your income goes into the war chest. Right. This is why it's called NBA stands for never broke again. If I didn't say it before, never broke again. Right. If you're investing 50% of your income, no matter what, into assets that will grow in both equity and or cash flow, then how can you ever go broke, right? If you 50% of your money is always going to work for you indefinitely, right? Operations, you're going to live off 30%. You may be thinking right now, I can't live off 30% of my income. You got to make more money, dummy. You know what I'm saying? You got to work more. You're going to have to make more money, right? This forces you to make more money, and it forces you to live below your means. Like, it forces you to live below your means. That's why, like, when people see me like fucking spending a bunch of money, or they see me making videos, but man, he's gonna go broke soon. I'm like, no, I can't go broke. I never broke in accounting, dummy. I can't go broke. 50% of my income is invested. How could I ever go broke? I can't, man. You know what I'm saying? She'll poor ass up. All right. 15% goes to taxes. A lot of times I see a lot of comments when I'm talking about, how's he only paying 15% taxes? Because I have a good accountant, right? You can write a lot of things off. And this is just the personal income. Like, the business income pays the bulk of my taxes, because most of my corporations are S corps. And the way the tax structure is, like, the businesses pay the business tax and my personal tax. It's all kind of wrapped in together. But then there might be some leftover shit, some other shit I got to pay, you know, and it comes out of there. All right. And then the baller account is 5%. Right. So when you see me out, to give you an idea of how much fucking bread I'm getting, right? When you see me fucking with Louis and the fucking jewelry and the watches and all that shit, you know what I'm saying? It's 5% of my income. Like, I'm really getting to the money, man. I'm not fucking around, man. I'm really not fucking around. And the beauty of the system is, one, you can never go broke because you're investing half your money. You're also living below your means, right? But you're paying Uncle Sam. But here's the thing. If you want a luxury, a vacation, excuse me, if you want some designer shit, right? You got to make a lot more to get it, right? You can set that goal. You get what I'm saying? So it's like if I want to let me do some quick math. Let's say I want to buy a Rolex, right? And the Rolex is maybe I just want, I don't know, a Submariner Rolex, man, or a GMT or some shit like that. So like a $10,000 Rolex, entry level Rolex. All right, no problem, right? That's got to come out the baller account, right? So I got a 10 grand, which means I have to make 200 grand. I had to make $200,000 to afford that Rollie. You know what I'm saying? And it forces you to set your goals like way higher. And I don't know, man, that may sound unattainable to a lot of you guys, but I need you to understand that that's a mental block you have. Like you can make way more money. You know what I'm saying? You can make way more money. And maybe you can't get the Rolex yet, right? It's like, maybe you can't get the Rolex yet, and that's fine, right? But it just forces you to make more money. But out of that 200, let's say I buy the Rolex 200, boom, I got to get 200 to pay for a $10,000 Rollie. You know what I'm saying? Boom. That means I put fucking $100,000 in investments. That's how you can never go broke again. Never broke again. Once you start living like that, it kind of switches your mindset. Like, oh, I need way more money, and you start going super hard to get the things you want. Because I'm not telling you to fucking start making your own coffee like a nerd, or like to motherfucking bring your lunch to work or some shit. Like you can't save enough money to get rich, right? No one has ever got rich. No one's ever got rich with austerity. You get what I'm saying? Was my math right on that? Yeah, no, it was. It was right. Come on, man. All right. No one's ever got rich via austerity. You have to, because you can only save so much, right? There's only so much you can save, right? There's only so much you can put aside, but the amount you can make is infinite. You know what I'm saying? So you might have to just work way more. And you got to make, I'm not telling you to fucking, I'm telling you to live below your means, but I'm not telling you to lower your standard of living. I'm telling you to up your fucking means, because I believe in you. And anybody who's fighting against this, man, it's just, if you argue for your own limitations, you get to keep them. If you argue for your own limitations, you get to keep them. I'm telling you to do it because I believe you can. I believe you're strong. If you live in a first world country, right? If you live in motherfucking Syria, then you don't need none of this shit. You just got to try to find a way to become a refugee and get over here, man. You know what I'm saying? Get in a motherfucking boat, raft, fucking swim, do whatever you got to do. Risk it all, right? Because what's the alternative? Living in fucking shit country? I digress. Y'all not even watching this if you're in Syria. Y'all can't afford internet. I don't know how it works in Syria. Anyway, this is if you live in a first world country, right? Make more money. And all you got to do is like, it's time, guys. It's time. Because I was like, oh shit, I got to make way more money to do this, because I did not want to lower my standard of living at all. So that means I had to really up the amount of money I was making. And you guys can do this with, it's called the time exercise, right? I want you to, there's only 4 things. Let me go over here. There's only 4 things a man has to do, right? 1, obviously you have to sleep, right? Everybody got to sleep. You know what I'm saying? Unless, of course, you are a crackhead. Crackheads can go, there's a lot of negative connotations associated with crack cocaine usage. But no one ever talks about the benefits, man. They're up all the time. They're hard workers. Anyway, but however, traditionally, I hate to cast large generalizations, but traditionally, habitual crack cocaine usage will work to your detriment. So you want to stay away from that. So you got to sleep, right? You got to work. Obviously, you got to get that money, get to the fucking cash, right? You got to spend time with your family, right? And you have to work out. Those are the only 4 things a man has to do. Everything else is optional. Now, every time I say this, some fucking nerd, again, arguing for his own limitations, you get to keep them. If you do, hey, man, Hey, if you think you can't do it, if you think you can't do what I'm saying, I believe you. Well, no, I don't believe you, man. Fuck it. I think you can. I just think you soft. I believe in you more than you believe in you, right? But every time some nerd says, man, what about using the bathroom? I gotta use the bathroom, man. You're not taking the account. I'm like, I don't know how many, I don't know how much time you motherfuckers are spending in the bathroom. But if you are spending like 40 hours in the bathroom, then you have problems that are beyond the scope of anything I can cover in this video. I'm not qualified. I am not qualified to help you with that problem, right? But most of us, we're not spending a whole lot of time fucking in the bathroom, bro. Like that's what your girl's supposed. That's why I said a man, not a woman, right? Anyway, and then you got to commute to work, but you commute to work, add that into the work thing. If you got to commute, then add it to work, right? At that time, right? So all you can do is say, hey, how many hours do I spend? How many times I spend sleep? Boom. How many hours do I spend work? Include the commute, dumbass, right? How much time do you spend with your family? You know what I'm saying? And oh, you still got to eat. Eat with your family, dummy. Yeah, like multitask. Your family, hey, your family likes food too, dumbass. Right? Hey, listen, I don't know your children, but I'm assuming they like food. And you gotta feed them anyway, else they put you in jail, right? So let's do it together. All right. And you gotta work out. Are you motherfuckers just watching your kids eat? And not include that with the family time, nerd, right? And then then you see what's then add that all together. You're gonna add that together. Boom. And and then you're gonna subtract that number. And you're gonna subtract that number from 168 because there are 168 hours in every week, right? And then see what's left. Whatever's left, right? I'm not telling you not to sleep. I'm not telling you not to take care of your health. I'm not telling you not to spend time with your family. I'm telling you to do that thing, right? And then everything left, use that time to make more money. Use that time to make more money and do this MBA accounting shit, homie. You know what I'm saying? And what's going to happen is you're going to be putting way more money into this account. And this is how you're going to get rich, right? I'm not telling you to work hard to get rich. I'm telling you to work hard and invest half of it to get rich. I'm sorry. I'm taking out some of my frustrations on y'all because sometimes I read comments and people are just so weak and they just talk about how they could never do this and they give me all these excuses. And I think I made a pretty compelling argument to the contrary, but I know some people are just so weak that no matter how compelling my argument is, they will still argue for their own limitations, and it makes me sad. Like I get literally sad to see you guys doubting yourself so much, and it fucks with me that I believe in you more than you believe in you. You know what I'm saying? I digress. Let's move on. I spent too much time on that one. Lesson number 4. You will become like the people around you, whether you want to or not. My man Nima's from Iran, right? He just, your first language is what?
My first language is Farsi.
Farsi. I never heard of that shit before.
You probably have heard Persian.
Oh, Persian. Yeah. I always think it's funny when people say they're Persian because like, yo, that was like man long ago. That place doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's psychological.
That's like me saying I'm from Mesopotamia. Like how far back we gonna go? I'm from the Big Bang. I digress. Persia does sound cool. It makes me think of but Latin as opposed to 9/11. So I get it, but you just grew. They didn't have to go hard to teach you Farsi. You just learned it from being around them. Yeah. I mean, then you went in school. You had like lessons on to do it properly, but you learned the language. All of you learned your languages just from being around people, just hearing it, just picking it up. You know what I'm saying? And people dress different where you're from than they do in America?
No, it's very, I mean, of course, women cannot dress as freely as, especially in Miami.
Yeah.
But exactly as you said, my parents speak a different language as well with each other, which is like Azeri. I learned that without anyone even teaching me.
And your accent. Mm-hmm. That's not in your DNA. That's just the people around you.
Exactly.
Just like me. I sound a bit like a slave. Maybe like I sound like one of the niggas in Django who's getting whipped. But there's a reason for that. Because when Harriet Tubman was going through the South, man, freeing the slaves, going Underground Road, they went to Chicago. That was one of the main stops, right? So like, a lot of black people from Chicago have a Southern twang in their voice because we're descendants of brave men and women who refuse to be held in bondage, but nobody taught me to talk like a slave. It just happened. You know what I'm saying? And same with you, right? There's a reason that people in different regions have the similar dialect. The reason people sound the same, right? The people use similar slangs, right? Because you become like the people you're around, whether you want to or not. You don't even try. Now, here's the thing: how does that impact you? Well, if your friends are all broke losers, then you gonna be a broke loser, right? They say you are the sum of the 5 people around you. You're the sum of the 5 closest people around you, and that's super true. That's super true. And one of the easiest ways to change to make a change in your life is to change your environment. For example, during Vietnam, like a huge number of the soldiers were shooting heroin, smack. Right? They were shooting up heroin. Well, I wonder why we lost that war. Anyway, they were shooting, they were getting high as a motherfucker in Vietnam. And they thought, and the government feared that, oh shit, we're going to have an epidemic when all these soldiers come back as junkies to America. Right? But you got to remember, they were fucking fighting in the fucking heroin fields. Right? It was plentiful, and then everyone was doing it. Here's the thing. Soon as they came back to America, like they motherfuckers didn't need a lot of them motherfuckers didn't need rehab. They just kind of quit. It's like the weirdest thing. Is well documented that almost all of them, like a huge percent of them, just quit because they changed their environment, right? They were in an environment where fucking shooting up smack was not was frowned upon, right? And I've experienced that too. I grew up on the South Side of Chicago, man, fucking gang infested wasteland, and it's just, you know, everybody's in the gangs, you know, a lot of there wasn't a lot of hope. It felt hopeless, you know. And when I went to college and there was change, I saw like people who looked like me, people like me. Oh shit, man, motherfuckers are actually accomplishing stuff, right? One of my teachers was the CEO of Verizon. I saw Larry Ellison, who was like one of the top 10 richest men in the world. He taught one of my classes, and I just had different exposure. You get what I'm saying? Then when I got out of college, I moved to New York, and I took advantage of this strategically. I moved to a neighborhood in New York I could barely afford. It's called Forest Hills in Queens. I think that's where like Donald Trump grew up or some shit. And that's how you know they was balling and shit, right? And and I put myself in an environment where it felt like hopeful. It felt like being broke was not acceptable. But I would go back home and motherfuckers was like broke, and it was okay. Like it was okay to be on welfare. It was okay to be on Section 8. It was okay to be on food stamps and all this other shit. And my environment set a different standard for me. And I that's something I've always kept in mind since then. I started making more money. Just because the environment set a different standard. And I started to learn different things from these people around me. All right, new people around me. And then I moved to the Upper West Side in Manhattan. Same shit. You know, everybody out there balling. Motherfucking, I'm in the Michael Douglas is at my gym. You know what I'm saying? I'm working out next to Michael Douglas. You know what I'm saying? Motherfucking Michael Strahan. You know what I'm saying? Super Bowl champion Michael Strahan would be at the fucking Equinox over there and shit, you know? And it really stepped my game up a little bit. Then I made some friends who were like really balling. I started becoming friends with Elliot Holst, and I saw what he was doing, and that really changed things because it made it feel like it was possible. You know, I became friends with Owen from Real Social Dynamics, and he became like a friend, like a mentor to me. And they were making like they were making like fucking 8 figures a year. And I was like, oh shit, this is possible. It felt real. It starts to feel real. And then now I'm in Miami. Almost all my friends are ballers. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I be at motherfucking the Heat game, floor seats. You know what I'm saying? Motherfucking Mike Towers. I'm saying what up to Mike Towers. You know, and I'm seeing motherfucking Azuma be over there, man. Motherfucking, what's the nigga's name? DJ Khaled. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's just like, oh shit, I gotta step my game up. It's like you get motivated to step your game up, whether you're in the fucking hood and you're not motivated to step your game up. You're motivated to do motherfucking crime. You know, so that one of the best things you can do is change your environment, and I promise you, you'll reap the rewards, right? Okay. That's why I said I didn't know we was gonna get to 20 or not, right? Lesson number 5. We're only on 5. Damn, this is a long video. Lesson number 5: protecting the downside is more important than focusing on the upside. So, I want to tell you a story. During peak pandemic, when C-19 was ravishing the globe, New York City was one of the first American cities to be on lockdown. I'm walking around that motherfucker like I am legend. And towards the end, there was this thing that a lot of people were making a lot of money on. Something called non-fungible tokens, more commonly known as NFTs. And I saw a lot of people make a lot of money. A lot of friends made a lot of money. A lot of people made like big money and quickly. And everybody was telling me, Brandon, your audience is so big. You should fuck with these NFTs, man. Or you promote, I will pay you to promote our NFT product. Or you should come out with your own NFT shit. And I researched those non-fungible tokens. And I was like, this looks like a scam. Now, I'm not saying that people didn't make a lot of money. They did. But it looked like a scam. And I knew I could have made a lot of money. I could have made a few extra million that year, right? But I thought about what's the downside? What's the worst that can happen? We're gonna get into that more. What's the worst thing that can happen? Oh, what if it's a scam? I promote it to my audience. They fucking buy into the scam, and then they don't make money. Now I lose the trust that took me a fucking decade to build with my audience. Then what? What do I do after that? Right? I betrayed my audience. I've acted outside of integrity. Could I even fucking live with myself? And I said, you know what? I'm gonna sit this one out, guys. I know you guys are gonna make a lot of money, but I'm gonna sit this one out. Every opportunity I said no to. Now, I think everybody pretty much realized that shit was a scam. And I was the abundance I've caught, I was vindicated for acting in an abundance of caution. And I didn't fucking take advantage of my audience, right? You know what I'm saying? And I protected the downside. And I could still make money. I still get respect and love when I'm in the streets. You know what I'm saying? I didn't rip off people and I felt good, right? But there's some people I know. Let's take Logan Paul, for example. He took a different route. Now he's still doing well for himself, but you know, I think that was a big hit. That definitely damaged his reputation with some of the shit he was doing, and amongst others. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people who really damaged their reputation, and I think it's going to be for the majority of them. Some of them I know personally. I know that they're if they can go back in time, they wouldn't have done that, right? So instead of like just focusing on the upside, really take into account the downside and take into account how shit can You know, every opportunity is not one you need to go after, right? It's like there's all money ain't good money. You know what I'm saying? And no money is worth like your character, and no money is worth like the ramifications of misleading people, doing them wrong, and having to live with that. You know what I'm saying? And if we go even further than that, just think about, you know, like you're gonna have kids one day, or maybe you got kids now, man. Imagine they grow up and find out your daddy was a motherfucking scammer. Like that, I'd imagine that can fuck with a young man. So you don't want to put your children through that or your family through that. You know what I'm saying? Protect the downside. Protect the downside. We're gonna take a break here and go through some super chats. We're gonna take a break at number 5 and go through some super chats. So what's up?
We have Nico.
Big Neat, what up?
Hit the like button. It's free.
Mm-hmm. Real shit, Nico.
We have Steven.
Mm-hmm.
Jim J.
Yeah, Gymnasium Jesus. That's what he's called. A lot of people call me Gymnasium Jesus. That was an abbreviation. Yeah.
I pay myself $3,000 from the $16,000. What should I do with my cut? I usually provide my biz with a line of credit, personal bread, and get interest. I only need $1,500 for my expenses.
Well, one, man, listen, if your expenses are $1,500, playboy, then if you're doing MBA accounting, then you got to make you ain't made enough. You know what I'm saying? You got to make at least 5. You got to make at least $5,000 because your expenses supposed to be 38%. So you got to make more money. Don't lower your expenses though, man. Make more money. I'm telling you, this is a different way to look. Different way to look at it. Don't lower your expenses. Make more money. So go here, right? But if you're $15,000, if your expenses are $15,000, hey, don't cut your expenses. All that other shit, man. Fuck that shit. I'm not out. You live homeless and shit. Live like a homeless. Fuck that shit. You know what I'm saying? But that means you got to make. That means you got to make $5,000 a month to cover your expenses. So you're not making enough money, bro, homie. You know what I'm saying? You got to step your game up. But you're on the right path, and I like it. I like it a lot. You're on the right path. So what I want you to do is download Baller Mindset, and it'll show you where you're at, what structure, because it's broken down into three levels: broke, comfortable, baller, and balling, and balling out of control, right? And you're still because your expenses, yeah, you still got you got to step it up, man. You got to step it up. You'll see where you're at when you go through it, and it'll also show you exactly how to get further. All right.
He's back.
Mm-hmm.
What up, King Keto? Big
what
Brandon. Cartier Carter. I appreciate everything you do for the community, bro. Dudes really need to open their eyes and consume your content ASAP. My biz makes $16,000 profit.
Oh,
also,
that was the first part.
This was the first part.
Can you turn her up a little bit in my headphones? Because of the window. Yeah, that's what's up. Yo, shout out to you though, bro.
21 years old. 2 years left in college for accounting. 6 days a week workout, read books, and in the baller mindset.
Nice.
It feels like I'm not doing enough. What would be your next steps, bro?
2 years left in college. 6 days a week workout, reading books. I don't see job in there, man. You know what I'm saying? I was working when I was in college, you know, and reading and working out. You know what I'm saying? So I like to see you making some bread. Oh, his biz, he got a biz. Okay, no, then you're doing good. You're doing good. You're doing good, man. You know, I would like to know information because one thing I don't like is when people say they feel something, or I don't like words like think, feel. I fucking hate those. What? Oh, you know I don't like try, but thinking I feel like this or I think this. Like I really don't like that because I want to know the exact numbers. For example, there was this influencer. This happens to every influencer I ever worked at. I used to have a marketing agency where I managed influencers and I would put out their products. I would do everything for them, and all they had to do was like continue making YouTube videos and fucking dancing on TikTok and shit. And they had to do continue doing the clown shit, and I would make the money for everybody. It was a win-win. And they had never launched a product before. We would launch a product and it was like, oh man, I'm getting a lot of refunds, man. What's going on, man? And they'd be like panicking and be like, and I fucking hate when they say a lot, right? Because it's not there's no specificity. So I'm saying, all right, bro. I remember this one instant in particular. Like, how many people asked for a refund? How many of those did you get? A lot. No. What number, bro? What number? And the number was 3, right? Mind you, we sold like 3,000 things, right? So I'm like, oh, as a percentage, we'll give them the refund. You can have that shit, man. Like we sold 3,000, so it was like a super small percentage, right? So when people say, I feel, I think, it seems like, if that, I don't like it because it lacks specificity. And another thing is, that's one of the beauties of tracking and having data, because if you don't, it may feel one way, but the data would speak otherwise. And once I showed him the real data, he was like, oh shit, yeah, that's what's up. All right. What else we got?
We have Matt.
Mm-hmm.
How do you run a high quality drop shipping biz? I have a year of my time invested into learning this business model, and I want to make it work.
Don't. Yo, okay. Maybe 10 years ago, drop shipping was like a super viable option, right? 10 years ago. But right now, you can still make some money doing it. I think there's easier ways to make money, because the problem with drop shipping, and I've ran drop shipping businesses. I've ran ads for drop shipping businesses. I've done marketing for drop shipping businesses. I've consulted with, like, I've done it. Yo, man, there ain't too many ways to make money that I'm not familiar with. Legal ways. There ain't too many legal ways to make money that I'm not familiar with. You know what I'm saying? That I don't have like a breadth of experience with. And the problem with drop shipping is twofold. One, it's there's nothing that differentiates you from the competitors, right? Because you're all going to AliExpress finding the same shit, right? And the only thing you can do better is different ads, different marketing and shit like that. It's more than 2 problems with it. 2, like, fucking, if you're running ads on Facebook, they fucking hate that shit. Like, Facebook hates drop shippers, man. They can't stand that shit. They fucking hate it. And the reason they hate it is for the third reason drop shipping sucks. Because when you're drop shipping something, it's going to come from China, right? And it's going to take fucking weeks. It's going to take fucking weeks for it to get to the customers, and the customers complain, and the customers just are rarely happy with the fucking product, you know? And yeah, there's no moat around your business. There's nothing to differentiate you. It's hard to stand out. Facebook hates it. And the worst thing is, like, yo, to really succeed the way you want to, bro, to really succeed the way you want to succeed in any business, you got to kind of have like a love for it. You got to, you don't have to love every part of the process, but you should at least love the product or service that you're delivering. Like, you should at least love the product or service you're delivering. You know what I'm saying? And unless you love Chinese bullshit, unless you you have a strong affinity for Chinese AliExpress bullshit, it might not qualify. Right? So that being said, I'd like to, better business models are like something like Amazon FBA, right? It's a higher startup cost, right? But you gotta, at least you can build something that's for you. Now let it go. It's cool, because I don't know if y'all hear the sirens. You know, I live on a major boulevard, and some motherfuckers be dying and shit sometimes, man. It's a major city, man. It's like 500,000 people in Miami. Every day, some of them die. What's next?
We have Nice Guys Movers.
Come on, yo! Shout out to the nice guys. Shout out to all my movers. Shout out to all my movers, man. Y'all hard workers. I know what it is, bro. I used to be in the vans.
Thank you, Brandon, for all the game you be spitting. I've been watching you for over a year, and you helped me take my moving company from 140K last year to 300K.
I'll take a fucking photograph of this. That's what's up, man. That's what's up, man. Shout out to all my movers. You know what it is. Motherfuckers wouldn't have nowhere to live if it wasn't for us, man. Yo, man.
Advice?
Yo, what your job, bro, is super important, man. Yo, when I was moving, I was like, yo, man, these people trusting us to take everything they own, pack that shit up, and put it in another place. they literally trusting us with everything they own. Take pride in that, man. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Any advice on building business credit?
Business credit. We talk about that in the baller mindset course, right? Yo, check that out. There's and then in there's like a free training from my homie, credit Felix. You know what I'm saying? He knows about numbers, man. He Asian, man. So like that's how you know, like the numbers gonna come out right. Yo, credit Felix hooked my credit up, man. My shit was zero. Like zero, because I had never had any credit. I never had a credit card, never had a loan. I just paid everything in cash like a fucking listen, my former business model kind of required some of that activity here. Right? Let's get into the next one. One more, and then we're gonna go back into the today's lesson.
PG Journey.
Mm-hmm.
My Seho boss says I have a bad attitude. How does someone change their attitude?
You know what, man? A lot of sales guys are like that. You know what I'm saying? And that may bode well for you, right? But you got to learn to be more pleasant. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to be more pleasant. Yo, easy. Read the best book of all time, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Read the book. There's another really good book you should read. I never recommend it, but it's really good because I forget about it. But it's called How to Have Confidence. Let me just check it real quick before I get into this. Real quick. This is a really good book. Is this it? Yeah, the homie Les. Hold on. The big homie. Yeah, you can show it. How to Have Confidence and Power Dealing with People by the homie Leslie Giblin. I don't know why they put Leslie, man. My name is Les, bro. But Leslie. This is a good book. It's a shorter. It's like How to Win Friends and People, but it's like way shorter, and it's really good. I really recommend it. I probably should recommend it more often. You know what I'm saying? The book says less, but Amazon hating on them. You know what? But listen, man. King Bezos, if you're listening, I'm not trying to talk shit about y'all. Like, y'all don't know, man. Jeff run the world. Y'all don't know that. All right, MC, let's go. Okay, let's get back into lessons. Roll the shit. All right, back to the lessons that the lessons I learned from my greatest failures in my 20s, right? Number 6, overconfidence is dangerous. Overconfidence is dangerous. I'm gonna give you an example. The first time I started public speaking, I worked really hard on my first few speeches because I wanted to be good and I wanted to do a good job. The people who invited me to speak, I wanted to, I wanted to make them feel as if they made the right decision by inviting me to be one of the speakers. It's not something I wanted them to regret. So I worked really hard and diligent on those speeches, perfecting every aspect of it. And, because I did that, all those speeches went exceedingly well, right? I over delivered. I definitely exceeded all expectations, and that started to continue. It got to the point where every time I gave a speech, I would start getting standing ovations, and I would always hear from the attendees that I was the best speaker of the night. And it got to the point where I got arrogant about that, and I stopped preparing as much for my speeches, and I stopped putting in the same kind of effort because I started feeling myself. I felt like, yeah, I got this shit. I'm the man. This King Keto Gymnasium Jesus, man. These motherfuckers lucky that I'm gonna speak to them, man. They lucky to hear me talk. And that the Bible says pride comes before the fall. Where is that in the Bible? I want to give them the actual. Hold on. Yeah. Motherfucking Proverbs 16:18. Pride goeth before destruction. That's how one translation puts it. And I was about to find out just how true that statement was. So I go on stage, and I'm like, and I didn't prepare nothing. I was like, man, I'm fucking Gymnasium Jesus, right? And so Gymnasium Jesus gets on stage, and I fucking bomb, man, like the worst speech of my life tonight. And it was super embarrassing. And I embarrassed the people who invited me. I knew I wasn't going to get invited to speak anymore there. And the fans I could have made, I repelled them from probably ever being a fan of mine again in life. And that's just what I learned. Oh man, you got to keep preparing. You got to be preparing, right? The absence of doubt is not necessarily the presence of truth, right? Just because you have no doubt doesn't mean you shouldn't. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean you have proof that something is going to be successful, right? And another quote that I've heard a lot of time, I don't know who's attributed it to, but nothing fails like success. So once you start succeeding in anything, never think your shit don't stink. Never think you just got it. Never think that you can like take your foot off the gas. Never think you got to stop putting in that work, because you do. What you got to keep doing what got you there. You got to keep doing what got you there. And you see this a lot of times in relationships where, either the guy or the girl will stop doing the things that got them in a relationship. And then, you know what I'm saying? And they start to take that person for granted. And then next thing you know, I mean, that's super common, right? It's super common. That's why 50% of marriages fail, right? You know what I'm saying? Or 50% of marriages end in divorce. But that's only that doesn't mean 50% fail. That just means 50% of them were brave enough to divorce. How many people live in unhappy marriages that they wish they can get out of, right? Because whatever both parties were doing in the beginning, they stopped doing at some point, right? I don't know if they started taking those people for granted. It could have been, it happens all the time. Or you see this with employees, man. Or maybe it's you. Remember the first day, there's a job you wanted, and you were super hyped to get there. You probably wear your best shit. You researched the boss, the company. You came in there with a fucking resume, looking all spiffy, and you gave an exceptional interview. And then your first few days, man, you out here working hard, trying to outwork every people, and then you slip a little here, right? You take your foot off the gas a little here. Maybe cut a corner there. You get away with it, right? You're like, oh yeah, I'll cut another corner here, cut another corner. And you keep cutting corners. Next thing you know, you fired. Next thing you know, I fire you. That's not the guy I hired. You know what I'm saying? And you see this all the time, right? Or even in businesses, man. Like you see this in different businesses. Motherfuckers stop improving their business models. They stop looking for new ways to make money, and the business go out of business. Look at Blockbuster videos, right? Blockbuster was back in the day, there was this thing. If you wanted to watch a movie, you had to go to this place called Blockbuster Video, and you would have to rent what's called a VHS cassette or a DVD of the video, right, of the movie, and you would rent it, put it in your DVD player or VHS cassette player, and then you watch it with your family. Oh, it's a good movie. Then you bring it back, right? Blockbuster was coasting off that shit for mad long. Then Netflix came through and was like, yo, you don't even got to go to Blockbuster. Y'all don't remember the way Netflix started? They would fucking mail the shit to you. You go online and you say, boom, 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 y'all want to read this, and they mail you the shit and you mail it back. And Blockbuster saw that shit like, we ain't got to do that. We Blockbuster, right? But then Netflix, they started taking market share from Blockbuster. Blockbuster did not respond. And then Netflix, what they do, they kept improving on the shit. They started making original shit, original movies. They started putting other shows on. Now Netflix, you can't rent a DVD from Netflix no more. It's all streaming, and they got their own shows. And some of them shits is fire. You know what I'm saying? Some of them shits is all right. Documentaries and shit. This is one I like called Dirty Money. What's the other shit I like? The other money shit I like on the Netflix. I don't know, man. I'll be watching like motherfucking financial crime dramas on Netflix. And anyway, what's it called? We watched The Big Short. That was my shit. You know, finance movies, right? Finance dramas. Some nerd shit. Anyway, they keep improving on their shit. Where Blockbusters, they never kept improving. They just rested on their laurels, and then now they out of business, right? They got too confident. They got cocky. They didn't keep improving. But Netflix keeps improving, and they're doing a lot better as a result, right? You got to do that same shit in your life. You got to always get better. Don't think you got enough skill now. Don't think you're good enough now. In my life, I'm always trying to get better. Before I came back to YouTube, I remember I took a 2-year hiatus from YouTube, right? And before I came back, I took fucking speaking lessons. Now that may come as a shock to you because I sound like a direct descendant of Kunta Kinte. I sound like a direct descendant of Aunt Jemima, but just know it was worse. I'm always trying to improve. I'm always trying to level up my game in all regards, right? And I never feel like I'm good enough. Because I know there's somebody else on my tail, man, who's trying to get better, who wants to take my spot or wants to take market share from me. And I stay abreast of that. You know what I'm saying? All right. Number 7. If you're not number 7, if you're not tracking, you're slacking. All right. I want to tell you a story. I started working out when I was in high school. You know, really just I wanted to get stronger. I wanted to get better at violence so I can win a lot of the fights I was in. But then I stopped fighting and I started training people and it was cool. But anyway, I was working out, but I wasn't making super fast progress until college. What happened in college was, I think I know, I used to be a musician, play keyboard, drums, guitar, and I used to rap. I used to rap, and I used to open up at shows for like everyone who's popular in the early 2000s, fucking Ludacris, Kanye West, before his first album came out, T.I., Fabulous. And once I opened up for LL Cool J. Now, this was LL Cool J when he came out with this song called Love You Better. And he was in peak condition. He was like 40 years old, but he was in peak condition, right? Like super good shape. And I open up for this nigga and I get off stage, and then there's this girl I liked. I started talking to her after. Oh, you did a good job. Then LL came on. She straight literally pushed me out the way and ran to LL. And it was like a mob of girls, college girls, running to this 40-year-old man. You know what I'm saying? And instead of hating, I watched in awe. I was like, whoa, this motherfucker is 40 years old. And these girls are screaming. And he lifted his shirt off and they went crazy, right? I digress. That's when I said, you know what? I'm going to start taking fitness more seriously. For whatever reason, that was the moment I was super motivated to take fitness seriously. And what I did was I was already working out hard. I was working out good. I was eating right. But I don't like when people say that. I don't like when people say I'm eating right. I'm doing good. I'm doing all this other shit. I wasn't quantifying it. I mean, I wasn't. those words are not descriptive, right? They lack specificity. So I started tracking all my workouts. I started tracking my macros, tracking my meals, right? And tracking what I ate, and really like being diligent with the data. And in the next few months, I made so much more progress than I did before just by tracking. If you're not tracking, you're slacking. And then, I was a personal trainer, and then I got serious about making my clients track their macros and track their diets and track their eats and track their lifts, track their numbers. And they started making more clients, more progress. I started becoming a better trainer as a result. And then when I was one of the first people ever to do online training. Like I helped pioneer the online training industry, right? Because I'm almost 40, right? And I was literally one of the first people to do it. I'm not saying I invented it, but I was definitely one of the pioneers. And how do you get somebody results if you can't be in the gym with them? Well, we all know that diet, getting in shape is 40%. Getting in shape is at least 80% diet, right? So I just knew, hey man, if I made them track their diets and I kept them accountable to that every day, and they were following the diet, they would lose weight and they get in better shape. And I could do that remotely, And so I came up with systems to do that. And then when I started doing that for those clients, I was getting better results for my online clients than most in-person trainers were getting for their in-person clients. Because you've been to a gym, you see these guys train them. They're not writing shit down, and they definitely aren't tracking their clients' macros and calorie intake every day. Fuck out of here, right? So that's how you get way better results for online clients than you do in-person clients. I digress. So I became one of the best trainers in the world, statistically. and then I went on to start training. I trained some guys in the NFL. I trained some fucking like models, like real models, not like these hoes on Instagram wasn't around. So like when I say models, I mean like bitches on billboards, magazines and shit, you know what I'm saying? And like pro athletes with the same shit. Then I started tracking that. And then I just noticed everything you track, you start to improve. So I started tracking my finances. And next thing you know, I'm making more money. I'm making better financial decisions. And then when I got serious about business, we track every metric in the business. I can tell you exactly how many customers we had, exactly how much money we had, how much money we spent yesterday. I can tell you every metric, how many sales calls we had, what's our sales calls percentage, what's our lifetime value of a customer, what's the cost of acquisition for acquire, how much it costs us to acquire a customer, what the return we're getting on ad spend. I can tell you everything about the business, all because I have all the data. But without that, I'd be lost. I couldn't make decisions. But I do it in my life too. So I just track everything. If I'm trying to learn a new skill, I track how many hours I'm spending on it. And this really, it's a real game changer, because a lot of times I hear people say shit like, oh man, I feel like this, or it seems like that. But if you had the data, it takes that away, right? You understand exactly what's happening. It takes out the frustration. You get what I'm saying? Like I was trying to learn this new skill, and I felt myself getting frustrated about how long it was taking. I think we've all been there. And then but because I track how many hours I spend on it, I looked at it and I said, oh, I've only fucking been doing this shit I've only spent 50 hours on this shit. I'm not supposed to be good yet. Like, you're not even good until I'll show you something. I'll bring it up. I should just keep this up all the time. So this is what I call the skill acquisition matrix, right? So basically, a lot of it is based off some books I read. The Talent Code by Malcolm Gladwell. No, The Talent Code, and then Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. And then just, I've been a coach and trainer for my whole life, right? So Malcolm Gladwell said after 10,000 hours, it makes you one of the best in the world, right? But after 100 hours, like anybody who spends like an hour, if anybody who's ever spent an hour a day with an instrument, at around a 3-month mark, that's when you're not bad. You're not bad. So it takes 100 hours just to not suck. Doesn't mean you're good. You need like 1,000 hours to be like really, to be good. To be really good, you need twice that. To be amazing, you need 520. And this, I'm not going to go through the whole matrix, right? But this shows you how much time it would take you to do it, depending on how many hours a week you spend on acquiring the skill. So I looked at how many hours I spent doing this shit. I was like, oh, I only spent 100 hours. I mean, I only spent 50 hours, I'm not supposed to be good yet. And what it did was it took away the frustration. And now I can detach emotionally, because if I just say I want to get good at something, then I can get frustrated every day that I'm not good at it. Oh, I want to get good at it, but I'm not good. Oh, I want to be good at it, but I'm not good. Fuck. You know what I'm saying? But if I just look at, instead of setting the goal to be good at the thing, I set the goal, hey, I need 100 hours. And then from there, I say, I just need 1,000 hours. And as a result, I'll get good. Right. So it's like, it takes away the frustration of it. Right. Or with money, like, you know, if what I do is I take that. If I don't have as much money I make, I say, yeah, how many hours am I working? Right. Divided by how much money I make. And then I get the hourly rate. It's on my track. I like have it on spreadsheets. Right. So I know what my hourly rate is. And it was cool when I wanted to make more money. I just said, okay, I'll just work more hours at the thing. Right. And then it just becomes math. When you have data, everything becomes math. I've worked with people who wanted to lose weight and they weren't losing the fucking weight. I was like, well, how many calories you eat today? And they're like, oh, I don't know. And I'm like, oh, motherfucker. Right. But as soon as we start tracking the calories they eat and tracking how many calories they burn with some sort of fitness tracker, then we can just do math. I was saying, okay, man, if you burn 500 calories a day, then you'll burn 3,500 calories per week, and you should burn a pound of fat a week. And if you want to lose weight faster, then just be in a deeper deficit. Right. And it just becomes math, and it takes the emotion out of it. It's just, oh, all I got to do is you have data and it just shows you what you want to do. Like almost every year. Oh, okay. Not every year. The last 2 years, my revenue for my main business, high ticket trainer, gross revenue has increased by 50%. But that's strategic, right? Because we just look at the numbers. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just look at the numbers. Okay, this is the cost of acquisition. If we spend this much, we'll make this much. And then we know what the lifetime value of the customer is. So now we can play with the numbers, and it's just math. We just do the things more, and we're not out here guessing. You know what I'm saying? And it's like that with everything. Like, you should watch some of my other videos on tracking to really learn this. But it's like you want to take your feelings out of it and just look at the data, but you got to acquire the data by tracking to get it. And Peter Drucker said, if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. If it can't be measured, it can't be managed. So if there's something you want to improve, you got to start tracking the variables that are associated with that thing. And if you start tracking it, it'll do it. Right. For example, just the other day, I was talking to somebody who needs to start drinking more water, because this person had a kidney stone and he needs to start drinking more water. And I was like, yo, man, how much water you had today? And it's like, a lot. I said, oh, no. Like, can you be a little more specific? Yeah. And the person said, a lot. No. Like, what's the number? How many ounces? Like, oh, shit. Yeah. Me, I'll tell you exactly how many ounces of water I had today. You know what I'm saying? 130. You know what I'm saying? I got fucking counted. I'll tell you how many calories I burned today, right? Because these are metrics I care about, right? And the only reason I told that person, man, because I love that person. But that's the first example I can think of, right? But you want to take your feelings out of it and just look at it like numbers, you know what I'm saying? And I found something I found really beneficial. You know, all right. Oh, I gotta get through this now. Okay. Nope. Number 8. The answer is always less. What do I mean by that? Yeah. Well, okay. The year is 2019, right? And Brandon Carter was trying to make mad money, super aggressive, right? As usual. So I had mad different businesses. I started just businesses that I had to run. That's the key. I was different businesses. I had my main business. I had my fitness business. I had a supplement line. I had a food prep business. I had a fucking food prep company in New York, a keto food prep company. You know what I'm saying? I was managing other influencers in all their businesses, right? So that's like mad shit. And managing influencers is like having kids, but like way worse. Because most of us don't hate their kids. Except for yo mom. All right. And I just had all these businesses going on, all these other things I was doing to make money, right? The problem with that was I was making money. Like I remember that year I probably made I made, I don't know, some like I made a few million that year, right? And it was working, but it was super high stress, and it took a lot out of me to the point where I felt like I got burnt out, and it was the first time in a long time. And then one of my mentors said, "Hey, Brandon, you need to take a 10-day vacation, work on no businesses, work on nothing, just take 10 days off," right? And so I went by myself to the Cayman Islands, checked into the hotel right on the beach, and I just chilled. And then I had the idea, I was like, fuck, I need to just focus on one thing. So I shut down and or sold the businesses. Some of them I just shut down, right? And I kept one, right? Then the following year, I made 3 times the income. I made 3 times as much money by doing less. Now, it wasn't necessarily less work, but I was putting all my effort into one thing, right? And I tripled my income with less business, and it was way less stressful, and it was way more lucrative because with all these businesses, I had to do payroll for a bunch of different businesses, do accounting for a bunch of different businesses, legal shit for a bunch of different businesses, different kind of marketing to different kind of businesses, right? But when I put all that effort into one thing, sorry, I dropped something. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. All right, when I put all the effort in one thing, I tripled my income, right? And then it was also. And that was just in business. I also simplified my life in general because I was doing a bunch of other wild shit, trying to be a huge influencer, right? I started, I was out here trying to be an international playboy and shit, and I just had a lot of shit going on, and I just simplified all areas of my life, right? Stopped fucking dating a bunch of girls. I stopped doing as much traveling. I even I stopped YouTube for a while, right? And I stopped trying to, I just focused on one thing for a long time, and man, I just so much more results. And then I got to the point where I did that for like 2 years, made a ton of money, right? And in the next year, no, for real. And then the next year, doing the same thing, simplifying my life even more, I made 50% more money the following year, right? And it was by doing less. Right. So the answer is always less. Is that something you could do? If you could figure out how to simplify your life, you'll have more what I call mental bandwidth, right? Because your brain is like a computer's CPU, like the CPU in a computer. When you have too many programs open, or you have Chrome up and too many tabs, you know what I'm talking about, man. You have like 50, 60 Pornhub tabs on. Open, man, your computer starts slowing down, man. And it starts slowing down because you got 50 of them. That's not right. You're trying to find the right one to finish on, and you know what I'm saying? It gets crazy. You got all these tabs open, and your computer slows down, man. Right? Close the fucking tabs. Close the fucking tabs. Your computer runs better, right? You know what I'm saying? And your brain runs better. Your business runs more efficient. Everything runs like way more efficiently and effectively. And I just try to take that to the next level. I try to keep my mental bandwidth super low. Right. Yeah, I'm super reluctant to take on a lot of things, to start new things, even to start this podcast, man. We talked about this for months before we did it. You know what I'm saying? Because I wanted to make sure I can incorporate it in my life a way where it was like super stress free and it didn't like raise my bandwidth a whole lot. When you simplify your life, just things become better and you go farther with simplicity than you will with complexity. Steve Jobs says, focus and simplicity. Once you get there, you can move mountains. You know what I'm saying? And Steve Jobs, man, he knows something about success, right? If you don't believe me, I know sometimes like the reason I'm throwing these quotes in here because I know sometimes you got to hear like an old white man say the shit for you to really believe. Oh, okay. You hear me say it, you're like, it's easy to disregard. It's easy to disregard because I'm throwing in my comedic, especially because of my comedic prowess, you may think it's a joke, but if I throw in, one of my Caucasian counterparts, it seems as if it hits you a little harder. Number 9. I think we're going to do 10. Yeah. Number 9. Everything is hypothetical until you apply it to your own life. For example, some of you, I do the ketogenic diet. I've been doing it for about 8 years. It's been fantastic for me. But I'm never telling you guys to do it. I may tell you to try it, but I'm not telling you that you should do it or everyone should do it, right? Because you may get different results. Like, we're all different, right? There's people who can die if they eat a peanut. You know what I'm saying? Side note, those people shouldn't breed, because let's think about it. If they stop breeding, then we could all eat peanuts on the plains in peace. But they keep fucking up the gene pool with their bullshit. I digress. The Spartans had some good ideas. You know what I'm saying? Bet you them Spartan kids, the ones that survived, bet you they could eat peanuts. I digress. Everything's hypothetical to apply to your own life. So when you hear people giving all these rules, and even in this video, like lessons I learned, these are lessons I learned. Maybe you might find it. You might have different experiences. But I hear all these rules. These motherfuckers that tell you, these motherfuckers say, you got to make your bed every day. You know what I'm saying? To be successful. You got to wake up early to be successful. You can't drink. You can't watch porn. You can't do nothing to be successful. It's like, I'm sure that will help some people, right? But I know some motherfucking perverts who are multimillionaires, man. I know motherfuckers who fucking watch porn, who do porn, who are making a ton of money, man. One of my boys I know he watches porn because his girlfriend is like one of the most successful OnlyFans girls ever. And he manages her. So he watches a ton of porn and he's successful. I know some degenerates who are fucking multimillionaires, right? I don't remember the last time I made a bed. But you hear these motherfuckers online, you got to make your bed, right? They say, or they say some shit like, just none of these rules are real. Maybe they help some people and then you might find them helpful too, but don't take them as gospel, right? Everything is hypothetical until you apply it to your own life. Everything is hypothetical. I learned this because I used to hear people say, how you do anything is how you do everything. I would hear it all the time. We've all heard that. And I thought that meant I had to improve everything I do. Right? Oh shit, man. Well, fuck, man. I'm kind of messy. I can't spell well. My handwriting sucks. Oh, I'm not, I was looking at all my flaws and I thought, fuck, man, I won't be good at anything. I'll have no redeeming qualities because I can't spell or because I don't make my bed. Come to find out that that's utter bullshit. I know a lot of super successful people who are super bad at a lot of things. I know rich guys who are super fat, right? They don't give a fuck about their health, but they make money, right? And I'm not saying that's advantageous. I'm not saying that's the best way to live life. I'm just saying, man, don't all these rules that people try to tell you, it's bullshit, man. It's bullshit. The old math is the only thing that's like true, right or wrong, true. Everything else is opinion or subjectivity. You know what I'm saying? Everything else is just opinion or subjectivity. You got it, and that goes to why you should track things and get data, because you can't argue with math. Men lie, bitches lie, numbers don't. Right? Collect data, track anything you want to improve, and then it's like motherfuckers can tell me, "Hey, bro, you don't make your bed, you can't be successful." All right, I'll fuck around and never make a bed ever again, and I still fucking make millions every year. You know what I'm saying? How you do anything's how you do everything. All right. Listen, I made millions while jagging off frequently. and consuming loads of pornography, right? And motherfuckers will tell you can't do it. Like, none of this shit is real. I'm not saying you should do it. But I'm just saying, like, yo, don't listen to these rules. Just take everything as suggestions. If I say do keto, if I say I do keto, maybe you should try it. It's a suggestion, right? Everything is hypothetical until you apply it to your own life. You might find out that porn is fucking up with your shit. All right, cool. But you got to have data to back that up, right? And then if you stop watching porn, you stop jacking off all the time, put your fucking shit away for a minute and get to work, maybe, and you notice that it's making you more money. You make more money as a result. Cool, right? But these motherfuckers say you got to do no fap and you'll be a superhero. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers act like if you don't jack off, you'll be able to levitate and walk through walls and shit. Like, no, it hasn't been my experience. Maybe it's yours though, and I don't want to take that away from you, right? Everything's hypothetical until you apply it to your own life. That's super important. All right. Marcus Aurelius said, "Everything we hear is an opinion, not fact. Everything we see is perspective, not truth." That's Marcus Aurelius, man. You know what I'm saying? There was a time he ran the whole world, or most of it. Like, if you weren't living in a hut or a cave, he was your motherfucking boss back then. You know what I'm saying? And he knows a thing or two about success. And then we're gonna leave it on number 10. I'll redo the intro. the Number 10, stop looking for what you can get away with and start trying to find out how much you can take. All right. You know, in one of my, oh man, this example, I don't know if I want to end it with the example. Okay. A lot of times when I talk about some of the things that have worked for me, right? Being real diligent about my schedule, planning out my time. You know, I talk about Google Calendar and how I kind of plan all my awake minutes of every day. I have videos about it, or how I track all these different metrics in my life. Excuse me. Or even how I take my food scale with me everywhere I go, even to restaurants, and weigh my food. A lot of people say that's too much work, or they say, man, you can still get in shape without having to do that. And you can. But the thing is, I'm not trying to see how little I can do and still win, right? I'm trying to be the best I can be. And to be the best I can be, I'm probably going to have to put in effort to deserve the kind of outcomes I want. Charlie Munger said, you don't get what you want, you get what you deserve. The world is not crazy enough place to reward a whole bunch of undeserving people. Charlie Munger's, you know, he's one of the richest people in the world. You know what I'm saying? Of all time, one of the chairmen of Berkshire Hathaway. And you know, it's like, even when I accomplish a goal, when I go after a goal, I'm not trying to think, what do I need to do to accomplish this goal? Or I'm thinking, what kind of effort would I have to put in to make failure impossible? Like, what would I have to do to make failure impossible? And that's why I'm so good at accomplishing goals, right? But everyone else, it really seems like they're kind of obsessed with doing the least possible. And I see this reflected in a lot of the comments I receive on social media when I just talk about working hard. Like, these other people are trying to sell you a dream. They're trying to sell you a motherfucking scam. Hey man, if you buy this NFT project, you'll make a bunch of money. Or they're trying to say, you know, you can do almost nothing and make a bunch of money. And, you know, people fall for those scams. I'm actually telling you, hey, work as hard as possible. Work to capacity, and you will be able to accomplish your goals. And like, that's the truth. And it makes a lot of sense to me when I hear it, but I get a lot of pushback from that, you know. And people say, oh, you got to have balance, you got to enjoy life, you got to do all this other stuff, you know. But it's like, for me, you know, I just think it might be that we just have different ideas of what enjoying life means, right? Because a lot of times when they say that, they mean hedonism. You know what I'm saying? They mean, how can I work at least little as possible and then go out to the parties and go out to the clubs and go on vacations and get drunk, high, have casual sex with people and shit. And I'm not demonizing those activities. However, if like those are the only ways you can find joy, then it kind of saddens me if that's your existence, if those are the only things you can find joy in, right? Because those things are hedonistic. And most of these hedonistic activities, they're not things you can partake in regularly. Like you can only engage in those activities sparingly, right? You can't get drunk every day. I mean, I guess you can. I mean, I'd advise against it, but I think you can. I think you can. I guess you could go out having casual sex with random people every day. But typically there's negative outcomes associated with that. I guess you could get high every day, or because you could like live your life on vacation, but it's hard for me to believe that we live in a world where those are going to yield the best outcomes for you, right? And you can only do it sometimes, right? If that's the only way you can find joy, you can only do that sometimes, right? Which means you only can enjoy life sometimes. You can only enjoy life sparingly. But man, I'm just telling you, if you can start to find joy in seeing how much you can take, if you can start to find joy in finding out what are your limitations and trying to push past your limitations, if you can find joy in learning how to push yourself and seeing how hard you can go, then you can live every day in a state of joy. You can actually enjoy life every day. You can enjoy life every minute of every day if you learn to enjoy pushing yourself, going the extra mile. You can enjoy life every day. So I'm not telling you, and I learned this when I was working for a moving company. A lot of other guys, the moving industry typically attracts a lot of employees who are unemployable otherwise, and they're not doing it because they love it. None of us are doing it because we love fucking picking up people's shit and putting it in different homes, right? So, motherfuckers would be lazy, they'll fuck around. I would see this a lot. And for me, I was trying to, how I made a game of it. It's like, can I be the hardest worker here on this job? Like, how hard can I go? And what happens when I started approaching the job with that kind of attitude, the time went by so faster and I enjoyed it more. With the people who are always looking for ways to slack off or ways to cut corners, I enjoyed the job more. I started to find joy in it and seeing how hard I can push myself, or if I can outwork the other motherfuckers, And it started to become fun, right? Because I trained myself to enjoy pushing myself. And then I took that same work ethic into everything I do. And I would just notice that people who were like trying to cut corners, who were trying to see what they can get away with, they enjoyed the job less. They enjoyed the life, which means, but again, you got to remember, you're going to work at least 30% of your life. 30% of your time is going to be spent working. And if you can't find a way to enjoy it, then that means 30% of your life you don't enjoy, right? So when these motherfuckers say, oh, you got to enjoy life, you got to live a little bit, you got to live life, they don't understand that I enjoy life more than them because I'm pushing myself. Even when I was fucking working for moving companies, you know what I'm saying? It was like I'm enjoying life more than them. And when even now when I'm working, I'm seeing, man, how much can I do? How much can I do for my customers? How big can I build a business? How much can I make my customers succeed? How much can I help my employees succeed and accomplish their goals? Like, how much can I take instead of how much I can get away with? I enjoy the business more, right? It's intrinsic. Like, I love the results. I love money. Don't get it fucked up. I love money, but I actually love what I do for a living as well, because I approach it with that attitude. And I think even if it wouldn't make you more successful, it will, but even if it wouldn't make you more successful, if you can learn to enjoy pushing yourself, you can just be happier. You'll just be happier more frequently. You get what I'm saying? You'll be happier for a greater percentage of the time you're awake in life if you learn to enjoy pushing yourself. But if you are trying to see what you can get away with, trying to do the least, I guarantee you, almost all humans are going to work 30%, at least 30% of their life. They're going to spend 30% of their time working. If you fucking are trying to get away with, see what you can get away with, the only time you'll be able to find joy is when you're doing something hedonistic. And that sounds like an awful way to live. Hope you found this video helpful. I got more videos about that and other shit that'll help you accomplish your goals around here. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you check those out now. So I promise you, if you watch those videos and if you implement what's in those videos and what's in these videos, you'll suck a lot less. You'll suck a lot less in all aspects of your life. And I think that's, I think you'll be happy. You'll be happy you did. Let's power through these super chats. I'm just gonna power through them, like rapid fire. Just 6 more.
I have Steven. Notion plus Google Calendar's gold baller mindset is fire.
Come on, Steve.
Corey sent a super sticker.
Shout out to you, Corey.
Junior sent money.
Shout out to Junior.
We have Rosario. Hi, Brandon. I'm 19. I've always had a serious, neutral, straightforward, stern attitude in conversation. And it's hindering my business advisement since it requires sale. How do you think I could improve? Thanks.
How to Win Friends, Influence People. Read it, man. There's a reason that's my fucking favorite book of all time. Read it and apply it. You know what I'm saying? That's going to help you out a lot, bro. I know guys like you. You know what I'm saying? And they were able to improve that aspect with that.
We have Ryan. What is the best book about copywriting you or any experts have used?
There's a lot of them. I don't know if I can give you the best one. Oh yeah, Expert Secrets is really good. But I don't know if that's the best one. The best one is probably the best one. I'll give you the best one. The Ultimate Sales. It might be the Ultimate Sales Letter by Dan Kennedy. The Ultimate Sales Letter by Dan Kennedy. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
And we have Hydrithing. Sorry for mispronouncing that. What do you think of sitting with a bunch of friends? They often keep roasting my ass. I let it slide. What's your opinion?
You got to look at what guys will do that sometimes. You got to look at what is it malicious or it might be, like, honestly, because like a lot of males, it might be like a term of endearment. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody would roast like a real retard to their face, right? Because that's mean. You know what I'm saying? But they might just do it because they feel comfortable enough about you. And a lot of times guys will do that, right? So you got to see you got to discern if it's malicious or if it's just they fuck with you so much that they feel like they can do it. I don't know the context. It might be that. I got to do something because we're gonna we take my longer videos out of this, but I fucked up in it again. Okay, never mind, guys. This has been another episode of that Victory Talk podcast. We do it every Tuesday and Thursday at 7-ish p.m. Eastern Standard Time. See you on Tuesday. Let's go.